everyone, and welcome to an edition of Spinning the Needle. I'm your host, Anthony Spano. Tonight, we have a special guest, the 2020 Hope Honoree, an education professional, and a community volunteer, Holly Welch. Holly, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, everyone.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We'll have a good night of discussion, just talking about a variety of things. And as people may not know, Holly is the recipient of the 2020 Hope Honoree with three other great individual community volunteers, which the Hope Foundation Mahoning Valley has given. Well, they will give it in 2022, which we've canceled in 2020 and 2021. And the Hope Foundation, if people don't really know, raises money for chronically and terminally ill kids. So, Holly, congratulations on the award, and we hope to present that honoree with you in 2022 when we have the event.
I look forward to that, and I am so honored, and thank you so much for the nomination, and thank you for having me tonight, Tony.
Not a problem. If people don't know you, talk a little bit about your background and how you got started to where you are now.
Okay. I was so into becoming what I thought would be a doctor. And I went to Geneva College, which is in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. And my advisor, of course, had me in all of the difficult biology and chemistry classes. And I did all that. And one day he said to me in my junior, almost senior year, he said, Holly, you know, how are you doing in your elective classes? And I had been rocking it out in my more difficult classes that I loved. And I said, well, I'm ashamed to say that I'm, B low average in gym and some other things that I should have been getting straight A's in. And he said, you only have a 3.5. Why don't you take some education classes as electives? They're very easy. You'll get A's for sure, and they'll boost your GPA. And I said, okay, that sounds like a plan, all the while working as an EMT on an ambulance and preparing to take the MCATs and move on to that direction. I took an education class and I said, this is amazing. I'm in love. And then I took another one and I said, I couldn't believe that you got paid to do this. I said, this is the best career ever. So needless to say, I changed my whole trajectory and I graduated just in time. I was able to add those courses that I needed, and I was a biology teacher. And that's how I started out in education and fell in love with becoming what would turn into the best career ever. And I'm so glad that I went the way that I did.
In right now, you're at Austintown Local Schools in the elementary area.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about kind of your, I know you've been an administrator at a variety of school districts in the Valley. So you've seen a lot of different atmospheres as well as education. And talk to us a little bit about education in general now than what may seem 15 years ago.
Okay. Well, contrary to what my advisor at Geneva thought in that education being easy, maybe he thought that because he was a chemistry professor. Education is difficult sometimes, and it is the most rewarding profession. And a shout out to all the teachers. As you've said, I've worked in Youngstown City, Warren City, and now Austintown Local. And the love and dedication and the effort that the teaching and support staff put into it for the kids is unparalleled. I have worked in 3 amazing districts, and I can say the changes that have come over time, of course, through standards and different efforts, things that the state puts down onto the districts to implement, like PBIS, whatever might be coming our way, they roll with it, they learn it, they attend the trainings, and they implement it with fidelity so that the kids and the school community get the most out of it. So I have been very blessed to roll with the punches as they've come. And this year, of course, was a really tough one. And the staff was able to adapt on a dime, our school families as well. And education still triumphed, even through a pandemic. And it was one of the most amazing times in education. Although it was a very scary worldwide pandemic, we were still able to have that sense of community and move our students through their learning and try to lessen that learning lag. So hopefully we'll see results that are more positive through the years here as we continue to do that. But we triumphed. I feel that it was a difficult year, but we made it through.
Well, we talk about how difficult it was during the pandemic. Kids were at home, kids were at school, depending on what school districts or what you were doing, or hybrids, as a lot of schools, a variety. What were some of the biggest challenges or hurdles that that you saw in education? It didn't have to be at like maybe Austintown, but maybe just in general.
I would have to say if there wasn't technology at home at first, that was the most immediate hurdle, because when the shutdown happened, of course, we weren't able to be face to face. So providing the students and the families who needed it, the technology, and I can say that Austintown and through my colleagues in former districts, in Youngstown and Warren, they rocked it out. They made sure that the families were provided what they need, laptops, Chromebooks. I know myself and a fellow principal and we went to homes with masks on, and we left Chromebooks at doorsteps, and then we'd beep and wave when we were leaving. So then that way the families knew that what they needed was there. So it was just adapting and making sure that the students had what they need in whatever way that might be. Some students may have been on free and reduced lunches. So the districts, I know, adapted to that as well. Austintown Local especially, we had our food services department did a fabulous job, and we had our families come through and they were able to get weekly meal packages for breakfast and lunch. So education had left the building, but we were still there in spirit and heart and making sure everything that the kids needed was still in place. Just a different look.
Yeah, I commend teachers for doing what they do, adapting, and I know talking with several parents of other school districts is they have a new outlook on teachers, because and you got to give credit to parents as well, trying to juggle work. Some parents were at home, and then some were doing both work and home, which is very difficult from just talking with parents and really kind of making an effort. And then you kind of see what the teachers are doing on a daily basis.
They do, and they have a newfound respect for that. I feel that, they always supported our school, but even more so now because they lived it. And, it's one thing to hear about things happening in the school and in the classroom, and then it's another thing to have lived it at home with your child. And then you see exactly what happens, well, maybe not exactly, similarly, what's going on during the day, academically, social, and emotionally, all the things that teachers and our support staff provide for our kids and making sure that they flourish and they can succeed. And it really was placed on the families at home. And that was a lot, especially if they themselves, like you said, were working from home or had lost their jobs. So it was a trying time, but I feel like it built a community between school districts and families, because they've now walked the walk with us and they understand all that goes into it. And we've formed a really great bridge with our families.
Well, let me ask you this. And what was Austintown during the pandemic? Were they like a hybrid, or what kind of schooling did they have during the pandemic?
There were three choices. Well, once the governor, of course, lifted the mandate and we could come back, there were three choices. One, face-to-face at our brick and mortar building. And of course, we wore masks, social distance, and did everything that we were supposed to, followed all the health guidelines. Then there was a second choice where students could attend via Zoom, and they had a live teacher who instructed them every day. And then there was actually a third choice where students could attend on their own via a self-paced computerized program. that would then be supported by staff if they needed to come in for anything. But it was more student generated there. The other two were more teacher led.
Sounds like a lot.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's why I just can't say enough about how much we adapted to fit whatever our families needed. The option was there, and that way the kids and the families could get what they needed. And the school had left the building, as I said, but it was still a live thing. It was just an adapted version.
Well, and you're just not an educator. You also volunteer in the community. You have a vast knowledge. Talk a little bit about, I mean, why get involved in the community? I mean, what does it mean to you?
I believe in servant leadership. So it means everything to me. I feel that giving back is so important. I feel that whether it's, working with the Rotary, working with the Bigs and Blue program, whatever it is that I undertake, there's a reason behind it. It's a near and dear cause to my heart. For instance, I'll talk a little bit about the Bigs and Blue program. I helped start that up in Warren City Schools at McGuffey PK8. And that's where you partner children with police officers. So I just think, with everything that's going on in society, that's another relationship to help build. Whether I attend my church and do the soup kitchen, I feel like helping the community helps our families, helps our kids, just helps the world. And by giving back whatever I can, I'm leaving what I found better. That's my whole goal.
What have been some of the projects that you've volunteered other than the one you were mentioning that you started? What were some of the ones that really hit home?
Oh, geez. It's hard for me to choose because I love them all and they're all so different. I like the Polar Plunge for Special Olympics. That was near and dear to my heart. We help send some of our students who are students with special needs to summer camp, and it raised a lot of awareness, and we were freezing. It really was
Did you jump in?
I did. I had to go all the way. I wouldn't say it jumped in. I moseyed my way in, and I made sure I went under. And then
you moseyed your way in. That's a guy like that. You moseyed your way in.
I was looking for the fire department on either side. I'm like, please make sure you get me out of here if I don't come out. So, but you know what? It's all for a good cause. And again, it's just giving back and making sure that children, animals, the earth, whatever it is I'm working towards, it can be better because I was a part of it. It can bring awareness. It could bring a donation. I mean, I've had, this past year in Austintown, even through a pandemic, we did what's called Pet Santa. And I brought that with me. I used to do it in Youngstown City Schools, and students are able to donate food and supplies and monetary donations as well. And we donated those to Angels for Animals and the Mahoning County Dog Pound, Friends of Fido, as well as Animal Charity. And the light in the children's eyes when the people who came to pick up the donations, they were so proud that they were leaders and they had a part in this. And even though they're moving on to the intermediate school, they asked, can we help do this there? And I thought, wow, this is amazing. This is sustainable. I've helped instill in you something that you now want to carry on even when I'm not with you anymore, because they'll move on to our grades 3 through 5 next door. So they can continue that and help the community. And for kids who, maybe animals aren't their thing, maybe they could help out with something for people or Earth Day. There's always some cause, something out there that you can find a way to give back. And that's important. It teaches so many skills.
Oh, and we talk about you giving back, and one thing, it's funny, you're also going back for your doctorate. You just love you just love going to school.
I never want to stop.
Yeah, and you'll be pursuing your educational administration. through Youngstown State as a doctorate. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes.
And how much farther do you have to go there?
1 more year. It's a 3-year program. I'm in the home stretch. If I make it through, these are my elective courses. I'll be getting my superintendent's license now that count toward that program, and I'll be writing my dissertation and defending it here in the spring. So hopefully next year.
Watch out, Superintendent DeCapuzillo.
Yeah, I'd love to be his protege.
Oh, he's a great guy. I've known him for a long time.
I'd love to learn from him.
And there's a lot of great superintendents out. I've had several of them on my show, from Tim Saxton at Boardman to a couple other ones that talking about the pandemic, because people weren't understanding. We were trying to get the message out, like what's going on behind the scenes before fall semester of last year, because everyone was like, what's going on? We don't know. No one's talking. But there was so much preparation that the superintendents were doing with their staff and the teachers, and they were trying to get the information out. We wanted to share that information with them. That's
wonderful. And of course, I want to give a shout out to everything that you do with the H.O.P.E Foundation. Talk about giving back and adapting during the pandemic and still keeping the foundation alive. So I think you also have a servant leadership within you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think I'm good on the master's doctorate. You might have to talk me into that one. And speaking of the foundation, is in 2000, and now let's talk about the H.O.P.E Foundation and the H.O.P.E Honoree Award. So you were selected as one of the 4 recipients of the H.O.P.E Honoree Award, which is honorable, outstanding, philanthropic, and excellent, and who's donated their time and effort to improve families in the community. And you are one of the recipients that was getting honored. How does it feel to kind of get an award like that? Because if you really look at it, it's like, this is everything you've done in your life.
Well, it was an amazing feeling. I first like to thank Calliope Stregas. She's a fellow colleague of mine from Youngstown City. She's still teaching there. And she told me she knew, and she wasn't allowed to tell me. She said she had to wait. She said, that was so hard. She said, I've never kept a secret from you before, but you're one of the honorees. And I was like, no way. And I was just over the moon, because when you do these things that make you philanthropic and excellent, you don't do them for recognition. You do them because it comes out of your heart, and that's where your purpose is. But to be recognized for it is just amazing. It's just like icing on the cake. I really, really appreciate it and feel so very special. And if anything, I hope, being an honoree or whomever actually wins the award, that person will use it to help, bring awareness to your foundation and to giving back to the children and to the earth and animals and whatever we can in the community, because that's what this is all about.
Well, and you would have been honored in April of 2020, but unfortunately, we everything pretty much was shut down. So we hope to have given it out this year, but at the same time, it was just too early. So Next year, April 29th, we hope 2022. We hope you will join us. And
I will be there with bells on.
We've talked over the last 4 months. You've been updated on when everything is, and it's a different kind of event, because we drink wine, we enjoy our company, we're raising money for chronically and terminally ill kids, but at the end of the day, it's all for the kids. And I think that's one thing that it really gets with people, is you're getting this great honor, and it's something that you're helping give back, no matter, like you said, if it's for kids, if it's for animals, you're doing what you were given your talents to do.
Yes, absolutely. And I look forward to the event. I heard it's a classy, beautiful event, and just knowing that we can enjoy ourselves a night out, but at the same time, as you said, it all goes back to giving back to the kids, makes it even more rewarding.
And let me ask you this: what made you get involved in general? What made you start? I think I like to ask you, like, there was probably that one moment you're like, I want to give back. Do you remember at all in life? Because I know each person has their own personal story.
Well, I would have to say I'm surrounded by a lot of good mentors in my life, including my mother, educational mentors, just friends and family who I have seen do this very same thing. And it always inspires me. And I say, wow, look at this person and look what they've done, and look at the difference they've made through what they have done. And I thought, I want to do that. Sometimes I say to myself, I haven't done enough, but every little bit helps. And so, whether it was my mother baking cookies for the church coffee hour, or if it was an educational leader who set an example by starting up and implementing some project that could help students and families, or even, like you through the H.O.P.E Foundation, you were inspired by a baseball game, whatever it might be, you take that inspiration and then you take it deep inside and you say, what can I do that I'm passionate about, where my skills are, where are my abilities that I can use those and give them back. So I don't know that there was any one particular moment. I would say it's a culmination of many moments and many people in my life who have been good influences and taught me to make the world a better place. My pastor, Reverend Gail Cantalina from St. John's Church, she's always giving back. I see pictures of her at a produce stand at our church or in other places, and she's giving back. To the community. She's feeding people that are hungry and making sure that the Williamson School and Youngstown City Schools shelves are full, the food pantry. I'm a firm believer in Maslow's hierarchy. You can't teach a child if they're hungry, if they don't have clean clothing and safety. And I admire all of the people who make those things happen so that children can learn. So I want to be a part of that, as well as, like I said, I guess it's the science in me that didn't ever die. I'm really big on helping the earth and animals. And I love incorporating the biology that I learned there. So I do everything, children and the whole shebang. I like to help everyone, and I've learned it from very good people in my life.
Well, you talk about hungry and eating and everything in education. Education was nothing like it was 20 years ago.
No, it's certainly.
You're dealing with mental health. You're dealing with hunger. There's more than just teaching anymore.
Absolutely. It's the full support services. Our school counselors are wonderful. They go above and beyond to make sure they are working as well as we are, the administrators, with our community. I can't say enough about the United Way, the Rotary Club. Various things you might say, well, what does this club do? Or the Lions Club, whatever it might be, there's something that they're giving back to the community, whether it's books, dictionaries, coats, eyeglasses, food, gift cards to Giant Eagle, gas cards. I can't tell you how many different organizations come together and surround and wrap around and love our school and our school community, and making sure that the needs are met so that education can occur.
Yeah, I totally agree. And there's going to be so much. There's going to be so much to learn in the fall. What will really happen because we all want kids to go back to school. I think everyone wants it. It's just getting them there safely.
Absolutely. And, we will continue our face-to-face instruction, and then Austintown will still offer one alternative for those families who can't make that work. So they still will have some outlet so that they can get what they need.
What's the future hold for Holly, Dr. H? Dr. H, Dr. W. So you got to pick a name once you get that doctor.
I know. I hope to move up the career ladder, as we have said, and the reason I hope to do that is I want to expand my influence, and I really want to be a servant leader to my school community. And I hope one day, maybe when I retire, I can write children's books and maybe do speaking engagements, and just to bring awareness about the importance of education, and just to give back, to do good, to help children, to help the world. I just want to see the world be a better place.
Well, and you're well on your way, Dr. H.
I might adopt that one.
You can adopt it, but I have the rights to the copyright.
I have to give you some royalties.
That's right. You can donate donate it to the Hope Foundation.
There you go. I like that.
Holly, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. I know lots been going on. The school year is pretty much about to start in a month. We're already there. I mean, we're literally in July already. So it'll be, so I appreciate what you do and wish you the best of luck.
Oh, thank you. And for you as well.
I appreciate it. At the end of each podcast, I like to have some fun of really having the audience get to know my guests. Are you up for a little quick Q&A?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so the answers can be professional or personal, your choice, doesn't matter. Okay. I say there's no right or wrong answers, but I've been proven wrong at other times in my life, so I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
So what is your best accomplishment?
Oh, wow. I wish I had these questions in advance. I could have thought.
I'm not that easy.
My best accomplishment. I'm so honored by the volunteer work that I do, but I would have to say it's going to be my doctorate, only because it pushed me to my limits and showed me what I'm made of. And it made me a better person, not only professionally, but personally. And I feel everything that YSU has invested in me, I'm going to now be able to use and invest it in others and help others be better as well. So I would have to say that.
Maybe future provost of Youngstown State.
Oh, there we go.
Best memory.
Oh, best memory. Oh boy.
These are harder than the other questions.
I know. I was quicker with the other ones. Well, there are so many things. Like, I loved getting married to my husband. I loved rescuing a puppy. I loved my first day of teaching, as crazy as that is. I remember walking into Woodrow Wilson High School, fresh-eyed at 22 years old, and just looking at that big brick building and saying, I'm here. This is my purpose. I'm going to do a really great job. And I walked in and I was like, where's the elevator? And they're like, there is no elevator. This school is like 100 years old. And I was like, okay. So I trucked it up to the 3rd floor and I said, this is my classroom where I'm going to make a difference. And I just opened my arms. I became the cheerleading coach. And I would have to say, just fulfilling my purpose and knowing I did the right thing and taking those education classes when my professor and advisor had advised me to do that. And just from there, I can't believe I'm 20 years in. It feels like yesterday. And I'm so excited to do that.
When you look at that brick building at Woodrow, you're like, oh, deer in headlights.
Well, I think, when you're 22, you think you can save the world and it's going to be so easy. And I want to offer one day, if the good Lord is willing, to host a class at YSU that says all the things that you didn't learn that you need to know to be successful in education. So this isn't going to come out of a textbook. These are real world scenarios that I could get from my fellow administrators and teachers in various districts and say, these are case scenarios. Tell me how you would handle this and not end up in litigation and do the best for the child and making sure the outcome is the right one. And you have to think about it literally as you're posing these questions to me. Like, I want an answer right now. So, those kinds of things, I would love to do that.
Well, and I think you just hit it spot on. It's like, I wish some of my classes at Youngstown State were like real world experience. Okay, an internship is a real world experience, but I'm talking like real world, not like book, because to be honest, I don't use half the stuff I learned in high school, and I don't learn half the stuff in college. That's just normal.
Right. It reminds me of, have you ever seen the movie Karate Kid? Yes. when Mr. Miyagi's teaching him, wax on, wax off and all that. And then he's like, what am I doing this for? I'm painting your fence. I'm washing your cars. And I'm hoping through all of my education, I'll see, just like he did in the end when he won the competition, that everything that we've done, and you included in your educational experiences, you'll say, that's why I learned that. This is applicable right here, right now. So that's my philosophy. So at some point, everything we have learned will be beneficial. Let's hope.
One day at a time. What's your best experience?
Oh, geez. Best experience. I mean, personally, it would be swimming in the Bahamas in the most beautiful ocean, just water that you can see through to the bottom. It's just seeing life and everything and its natural beauty. And then I would say at school, it's getting a child's hug, when they are excited to see you, because there's nothing in this world that can match or mirror the excitement of a student who sees an educator that they love. And they can drop whatever, if they're older, they're really cool, that cool act, and they'll be like, oh, Mrs. Welch, hi! And they'll run up, and before they were, Rico Suave kind of thing. And when they're little, oh my gosh, if they see you, I saw a student out, I was just eating at Calavera's restaurant, and he saw me and he was like, with his parents, like, I know her. Kind of like in Elf, the movie, when, he's like Santa, I know him. So it's like, it's so magical. And to be that person for another person, there's nothing like it, that you have made such an impact, that you are so exciting to see. It makes you feel like $1 million and makes you feel like, hey, you know what, whatever bad thing happened, I can go back and do this again, because that child, whether they're preschool through 12th grade, admires me, they respect me, they love me, and they're happy to see me, and we shouldn't take that for granted. So those experiences, the love of children and swimming in the beautiful Bahamian ocean.
Oh, I wish I was there now.
Me too.
Well, who's your role model?
I would have to say my mom. She has got the heart of gold, and she just would do anything for anyone. She's my biggest cheerleader. She's everybody's biggest cheerleader. And I love how she can turn something that, might be difficult or negative into a positive, a learning experience, and to just really rally around those she loves. And she's the one who taught me to be a servant leader and to give back and to give my life for others. So I would definitely say my mom.
Okay. If there was one person you would want to meet, past or present, who would it be and why?
Alive and dead and all that good stuff? Anybody?
Anyone.
I would have to say Jesus. I'd want to meet him because my faith is very important to me. So I would want to meet him and thank him for creating this beautiful universe and me, and and allowing me to be a part of it.
Okay. Appreciate it. Holly, thanks. That was a little bit of fun at the end.
It was. I loved it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Holly, it was a pleasure. I wish you the best in
My
education, especially in the coming month with the new start of the school year. Best of luck to you and all the educators, and let us know if we can be of any help, and come on anytime.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me, Tony. And I am so honored to be an honoree for your amazing foundation and to bring awareness for the children. Because as you said, the night, the evening, the award, all of it, it's all about them. So hoping that we can do our best for them.
Thank you. Stay on, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed the 2021 of the 2020 Hope honorees for Lifetime Achievement. They will be given their awards on April 29th, 2022. We hope you'll join us. If you want to see more podcasts or announcements, please go to anthonyvspano.com. Everyone, have a great night. We hope you enjoy and stay safe, and God bless.